Ladies, gentlemen, and pals of all ages, with the new updates comes new equipment in the form of armor and weapons that are notably more powerful than the older base items in a lot of ways. However, if you're someone who went out of their way to farm and grab all the big high-rarity schematics before and make yourself the legendary versions of these, you may already outclass some of the new toys. That is, at least until you can find the upgraded versions of these too. And with many new weapons being added in the new armor sets too, today let's have a chat about how to unlock every new legendary weapon and armor schematic in the Feybreak update. Starting off then, there were a pile of earlier game weapons sprinkled throughout the tech tree, and everything that was added pre-level 55, the makeshift shotgun, the SMG, the semi-auto rifle, semi-auto shotgun, and the old revolver. These weapons all have legendary schematics that you can find earlier on in the game from base island dungeons as their main drop source, as long as the dungeon's level is higher than the unlock level for the weapon itself on the tech tree. That said, most players are here for the real juice, the high level equipment, so let's get into full detail on all of that, the proper stuff. Beginning with the armor, as it's simply easier to obtain, there are three potential sources for the legendary schematics for the Hexolite armor, the Hexolite helmet, and the cold and heat resist versions of the armor as well. The first source is open world chests. These are all of the open world chest spawns that players have found so far on the Feybreak island. And as usual, chests do respawn on a relatively long timer, but do come and visit these every so often. The base Hexolite armor legendary schematic is a 0.11% chance to show up within these chests. The Hexolite helmet legendary schematic has a 0.08% chance to show up within these. Then the cold and heat resistant variations of the armor have their legendary schematics with a 0.05% drop rate from these chests. These are the lowest chances of finding them in the various places that you can, but the one with the most plentiful potential drops, as chests are just all over the place. Then the second method for these is supply drops. These will fall from the sky nearby you occasionally, and if they happen on the Feybreak island specifically, which just only means that you have to be on that island when it happens, then they have a chance of containing the same legendary schematics as the open world chests do, all of the armor ones, with the legendary Hexolite armor schematic having a 0.13% drop rate from Feybreak supply drops, the helmet having the exact same drop rate of 0.13%, and then the cold and heat resistant schematic versions of the armor having a 0.08% chance of popping out of a supply drop. This is also the one that is the easiest to sort of work around if you want to through world settings, because there is a world setting that you can use to affect supply drop spawn rate in the world. Speeding this up will make the events themselves trigger much more frequently and happen essentially just consistently if you put it to the maximum. Though you can't choose whether it is a meteorite or a supply drop that happens, you do just have to play the RNG 50-50 on that one at least. That said, this does significantly increase supply drops falling from the sky as a result, which in turn increases your chances of getting these specific schematics. The final source of these specific legendary schematics then is the brand new Feybreak oil rig way out to the west of the island itself. This is the hardest location in the game that is currently available, so take it carefully if you come here, but there's a ton of potentially valuable loot. Specifically, there is one big golden chest at the very end after a boss fight, and a bunch of tinier little chests littered around the place. Except only these smaller chests have the legendary armor schematic drop chances, with the regular Hexolite armor schematic here being a 0.03% chance, as well as the Hexolite helmet schematic 2 also being 0.03%, then the cold and heat resistant armor schematics here are a 0.01% chance to get from these chests. Your first thought may be that is a lower number, and it is, don't get me wrong, but the density of these chests in this location is the main reason why. They are quite plentiful. You do get quite a few chances in a short period of time. That said, there is one more legendary schematic that you can come across from these normal oil rig chests in this specific area, which is the legendary lightweight Hexolite armor schematic, which has a 0.01% drop chance from these chests, and to my knowledge cannot drop anywhere else in the game, so it is quite the rare one. As for a basic stat comparison then, the base Hexolite armor is 580 defense with 1750 bonus maximum health. The legendary version is 754 defense with 2275 bonus maximum health. The common helmet is 350 defense and 800 bonus maximum health, and the legendary helmet is 455 defense with 1040 maximum health. The common version of both the cold and heat resistant as well as the lightweight armor 2 variation all have 600 defense and 1750 bonus maximum health, with the legendary versions all having 780 defense and 2275 bonus maximum life, so just slightly more defense than the standard Hexolite armor does have. Past that, we have the weapons specifically, and as mentioned earlier, everything new that was added for pre-level 50 tech tree is just random drop chances from base island dungeons of appropriate level, but the ones that are unlocked past level 55 are the advanced bow, the laser Gatling gun, as well as the plasma cannon, which is just absolutely fantastic, and these do all have their legendary legendary variations. The laser Gatling Gun is the only one of these that can be found in multiple places. The easier of the two to do on repeat at least is at the end chests within Feybreak dungeons specifically, where it has a 0.04% drop chance. The common rarity laser Gatling Gun has an attack rating of 530 and 8,000 durability, whereas the legendary version of this has 689 attack with 16,000 durability, so quite the upgrade. The other place that this can come from then is the big golden chest at the end of the Feybreak oil rig we were talking about earlier. The chest there only has one actual use per respawn cycle. Obviously there is one of that chest, so once you open it you gotta wait again, and this chest has a 0.75% chance of dropping this specific legendary schematic. As for the advanced bow and the plasma cannon as well, they both only have one place where they can drop, and it's actually that same big golden chest at the end of the Feybreak oil rig. Each one of these weapon schematics also has a 0.75% chance of dropping from here, exactly the same as the laser Gatling Gun. As for their stat differences, the common rarity advanced bow has 5,800 attack rating and 500 durability, whereas the legendary version has 8,700 attack and 1,000 durability. And then the common rarity version of the plasma cannon has 10,000 attack with 300 durability, and the legendary version is 13,000 attack and 600 durability. While most of the base game legendary schematics were drops from specific alpha pals, which meant that there were tons of ways to sort of boost your chances either through specific ways of farming them or through messing with world settings, for the most part you can't really do that with the Feybreak drops. That means that you really are sort of beholden to RNG for most of these if you do actually want to get them, which means collecting them is a long process. That said, that's also the reason I showed you the statistical differences between all of them, as at a high end the difference in attack rating of weapons is 30% to the common version, with the main real bonus being double durability, so you have to repair them far less often. Don't get me wrong, 30% attack increase is definitely big, but don't feel like you're wasting your time using a common rarity weapon, especially if you aren't even using a common one and you can upgrade to the rare or the epic version. Just because you haven't gotten that lucky legendary schematic drop rate to happen doesn't mean that you're wasting your time. The difference in effectiveness between these weapons exists, but it is far from the end of the world, honestly. Lastly then, just to touch on it then, there are a ton of people flooding in and returning with this update who didn't even play the Sakurajima update on release. There were some new legendary schematics in that one too, and it's worth noting that all of these have their original drop chance sources, mostly the Sakurajima dungeons for them and the level 55 oil rig chests, but they all actually have higher drop rates from Feybreak content added afterwards. An example being the legendary flamethrower schematic, which has double the drop chance from the golden chest in Feybreak's oil rig compared to the level 55 oil rig. That just about does it for today then, everyone. Both how to get the legendary schematics for all of the new equipment in Feybreak, as well as the simple statistical differences between the base versions and the legendary ones too. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and hopefully it helps you out in your journey to be the very best that no one ever— oh, sorry, I can't say that anymore. Your journey to capture pals. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world our stage. Goodbye.